Okay, so in this next video, we're going to have a look at how to create like a label on the screen where we can put values onto our Tkinter window. So things don't just appear in the console anymore or in the interpreter at the bottom. What will actually happen is they will appear on the screen alongside maybe a button or like a text entry object, something like that. Now, just to sort of run you through the code that I've got, what I've gone ahead and done is created a series of buttons for the different objects that I want on my screen, probably similar to what you'll end up with as well. I've got some additional commands, like I've used some width properties to sort of just give my certain sort of buttons a sort of uniform look about them. And when this runs, all it does at the minute is similar to what you've had before, in that it will it appears with the calculator on the screen, and then they will appear with the buttons that I've pressed down at the bottom. I've changed this procedure to be something more appropriate, like button click, and I'm passing the value in of the button click itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a label which is going to go at the very top of my screen, like a calculator window would, and that's where the objects are going to now appear, or the buttons that are pressed is where the value is going to appear. And what I'm going to have is it's going to be a button called display, and I'm going to make it equal to a label, and that label is going to be going to go in the window frame again, and it's going to have a text value of equal to nothing when the program first starts. The display is then going to be placed onto the grid, and it's going to be placed in column 0, and it's going to be placed in row 0, and it's going to also be given a column span, which means it will bridge several buttons of 4, because what I want to have happen when this runs is I want it to span across the entire keyboard interface across here, and this is where it's going to kind of be placed. Although we can't see anything at the minute, if I were to just change this to hello and run it, you would then see the label appear. There it is there, just at the very top, center aligned text. So I'm not going to have that for now. What I'm going to do though is I'm now going to modify the procedure in here. First of all, I'm just going to leave myself a comment, and I'm just going to be create the display screen object. What I'm then going to do in here on my button clicker is I'm going to adapt this slightly, and what I'm going to sort of adjust this to is I'm going to use some properties within Tkinter. I'm going to refer to my display, which is the name of my object, and I'm going to configure it, and the configuration is going to give it the text value of val, so whatever's been passed into it as a procedure. So now when I run this, instead of the value appearing down here, what in actual fact happens, you can see that it's going to appear at the top. Some of you will spot straight away that this is not ideal, because how could I do 4 plus 6? Because at the minute I would just do 4, then the plus appears, then the 6 appears. Well, how do I know what I'm actually calculating on the screen? So to do that, I'm going to use another feature within Tkinter called the cget function. So I'm going to, instead of have text equal to here, I'm going to just put in display.cget, and then I'm going to grab the text that's already in there, and I'm going to concatenate it by using the plus symbol. So this line of code here is going to grab the value. Got a little error in my code there. It's going to grab the value, and then it is going to actually place whatever's on the screen in addition to it as well. Let's just run that. I've got a little error on the line below, but see if that runs. There we go. So now I press 9 and 5 and 6 and 3, and then I can do plus, and I can do 2, 3 and 5 like so. And so that is the sort of the basics of what my calculator can now do, and that's how I place a label on the screen and get it to actually update when I press a button.